One. Look at me.
A threat?
Definitely a threat.
You should get out of the way. Understand?
In the elevator? Sure.
Increase 50.
What you're looking for? I think they were. Now you've just made a man. You gotta help me get out. You kick him more. I'll tell you where to find them.
Daddy?
No, not today. Two, maybe two.
Don't.
You shot my dog. You gotta go.
Must be a large or small game hunt. The V's sent 1 to 6 optic on top, dirtier stuff, oversized bolt release.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
It's on Continental grounds.
Very cool.
1420. Of course, sir.
What's that?
Only by my sword.
Senang bertemu Anda. Buat dia sekarang. John Wick.
You're incredible in pain. See?
Ballet.
Kill me? Steve.
Please. You don't have to do this. Go.
He killed my father. This.
interest of Hofstadt survives.
No leader of...
I understand.
Cut across here. Don't you think we've had enough? Going to save her from me? Whatever happens here, the village has for the last 1,000 years to be a killer. You are just like Ella cannot change it.
So...
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the blood-soaked ballet from the world of John Wick, Ballerina 2025. Grab your popcorn, maybe some first aid kits, because this one's a whirlwind of vengeance and high-kicking mayhem. We kick things off with a heavy heart, meeting Rooney, played by the incredibly intense Ana de Armas. She's not just a dancer, she's a precision instrument of pain, currently mourning a devastating loss. The film quickly establishes her backstory, hinted at through a shattered photograph, and the lingering echoes of violence. Her family, her Ruska Roma kin, brutally taken from her, igniting a slow-burning fuse of pure, unadulterated rage. If you had a good time with this, a like and a subscribe is a free way to help me keep making more. Alright. So after that gut-wrenching intro, Rooney isn't wallowing for long. She's a woman of action. Remember, we see her, a ghost in the shadows, moving through a truly disgusting, abandoned warehouse. The kind of place you'd expect to find existential dread and questionable life choices, not clues to a global assassin conspiracy. But hey, that's the John Wick universe for you. She's not just looking for answers, she's taking them. She finds a body, not just any body, but one with a very specific, almost tribal-looking tattoo etched into its neck. It's like a secret handshake for the ridiculously dangerous. The camera lingers, letting us know this isn't some random design. It's a breadcrumb leading her down a very dark rabbit hole. The silence in the warehouse is only broken by the occasional drip of water, making the thud of her boots on the concrete feel incredibly heavy, like each step is weighing on her soul. Or maybe it's just really bad acoustics in there. Armed with her new visual clue, Rooney gets to work, which in this world means finding someone significantly less skilled than her and persuading them to talk. We transition to a wonderfully cinematic, rain-soaked back alley. You know, the kind where neon lights reflect off puddles and everything looks incredibly moody. Our informant here is a rather sweaty, clearly ill-equipped character who probably thought he was tough. Rooney, however, has other plans for his bravado. She uses a broken bottle, not as a weapon to kill yet, but as a very sharp, very pointy interrogator's aid. The shatter of the bottle against the brick wall echoes, and then the tense scrape as she holds the jagged edge to his throat. No wasted movements, no unnecessary theatrics, just pure, focused intensity. It's less of an interrogation and more of a ballet of intimidation, with the poor guy playing the terrified, improvisational victim. The rain splatters on them, adding to the general sense of miserable impending doom for our unfortunate snitch. He quickly spills the beans about the Obsidian Syndicate, a name that sounds exactly like a villainous organization that only communicates through cryptic tattoos. So, the Obsidian Syndicate sounds fancy, right? Turns out their main hub of operations is disguised as an absurdly opulent casino. Because where else would super-secret assassins hang out? A library. Don't be silly. Rooney, ever the chameleon, ditches her tactical gear for a stunning evening gown. She blends in, moving with the kind of grace only a trained ballerina and deadly assassin could possess. The chatter of the crowd, the clinking of chips, the whir of roulette wheels, it's all just background noise to her laser focus. She's not here to gamble, although I bet she'd be excellent at poker, given her poker face. No, she's here to observe, to identify key players, and to find out who's running this high roller death club. We get glimpses of their security, sharp-suited men with earpieces, moving with a silent efficiency that screams trained killer more than bouncer. It's like watching a deadly dance. But everyone else is completely oblivious to the ballerina in their midst who's about to make them all trip. You know the rule in action movies, right? Elevators are never just for going up or down. They're mobile fight clubs. Rooney, on her way to what she hopes is a more private interrogation, finds herself in one of those incredibly expensive, mirrored elevators. Suddenly, 3 burly goons decide this is the perfect time to surprise her. Spoiler alert, it's not. What follows is a masterclass in close-quarters combat. The clang of metal as a knife glances off the elevator wall, the oof of a winded henchman, the crack of bone, it's all amplified in that tiny space. She uses the mirrors to her advantage, disorienting her attackers, turning their reflections into weapons. It's less a fight and more like a human blender set to puree, with Rooney being the incredibly effective blades. She moves with a savage elegance, demonstrating why you never, ever underestimate a ballerina with a grudge. The fight is over in a blink, leaving only a lingering smell of ozone and expensive cologne mixed with fear. Oh, and 3 unconscious or very dead gentlemen, who clearly didn't get the memo about not messing with the main character. With the elevator taken care of, Rooney isn't stopping for a celebratory espresso. She bypasses another layer of security, because apparently, these guys spent all their budget on fancy chandeliers and none on truly impenetrable doors, and finds herself in the syndicate server room. It's a symphony of blinking lights and humming machines. Our girl isn't just a physical powerhouse. She's also got some serious tech skills. She plugs in, and we see data whizzing across multiple screens, a torrent of information being siphoned. It's a quick, efficient hack devoid of the usual shouts you get in movies. Just the soft tap-tap-tap of keys and the hum of the servers. She downloads critical intel, no doubt dossiers on the syndicate's operations members, and probably their favorite brand of villainous hair gel. The tension here isn't physical, it's the quiet pressure of a clock ticking, knowing at any second an alarm could blare, bringing a fresh wave of henchmen. But Rooney is calm, collected, a digital phantom stealing secrets in plain sight. With her digital loot secured, Rooney knows she needs more than just raw data. She needs wisdom, and in the Wick verse, that means a visit to Winston at the Continental. She meets him in the hotel's lush rooftop garden, a surprisingly tranquil oasis overlooking a sprawling, indifferent cityscape. The gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze, the distant hum of city traffic, it all provides a stark contrast to the brutal reality of their conversation. Winston, ever the enigma, offers his signature blend of cryptic warnings and sage advice, probably delivered with a raised eyebrow and a hint of concern. He knows the path of vengeance rarely ends well, especially against an organization like the Obsidian Syndicate, which, let's be honest, sounds like they wear a lot of velvet and listen to industrial techno. He advises caution, reminding her of the rules, or rather, the consequences of breaking them. The clink of ice in his drink seems to punctuate his every loaded word. Rooney listens, but her eyes betray a fierce determination. She appreciates the advice, but she's clearly going to ignore half of it, because caution isn't exactly in her vocabulary right now. Asterisk before the next storm, we get a moment of reflection and a deep dive into Rooney's past. This scene beautifully intercuts her performing a breathtaking, powerful ballet routine in a stark, empty studio with quick, brutal flashbacks to her childhood training. We hear the squeak of her pointe shoes on the polished wood floor, the whoosh of her movements, but also the thud of her body hitting a mat during a martial arts lesson. It's not just about learning to dance. It's about learning control, discipline, and how to weaponize every single muscle. We see her as a young girl, pushed to her limits, sweat glistening on her brow, the stern gaze of her teachers. It explains where her unique, almost dance-like fighting style comes from. It's graceful, yes, but also incredibly lethal. It's a testament to the fact that ballet in the John Wick universe isn't just about pretty pirouettes. It's about making your enemy's pirouette into the afterlife. The staccato beat of a metronome in the flashbacks emphasizes the relentless rhythm of her upbringing, forging her into the deadly weapon she is today, recharged and reminded of her deadly origins. Rooney hits the streets, following another lead she extracted from the data heist. This time, it takes her into a grimy, graffiti-laden underpass. Because, again, villains never pick bright, cheerful locations for their nefarious dealings. She's ambushed by a local street gang, clearly lower-tier cannon fodder who think they've got the upper hand. Poor souls. Rooney, demonstrating her adaptability, quickly turns the environment into her playground. She snatches a skateboard, yes, a skateboard, and transforms it into a surprisingly effective blunt instrument. We hear the clatter of the board against a helmet, the whoosh as it spins through the air, and the subsequent groan of a gang member realizing they brought a knife to a ballerina fight. The scene is fast, frantic, and wonderfully chaotic, with the echoes of their shouts and grunts bouncing off the concrete walls. She dispatches them with brutal efficiency, leaving them wondering if they should have taken up competitive knitting instead. It's a nice reminder that while she's elegant, she's also incredibly resourceful and utterly ruthless when she needs to be. After dealing with the skateboard gang, Rooney realizes she needs more than just improvised street weapons for what's coming next. Time for a visit to the tailor, but not for a new dress. In this world, tailor shops are often fronts for incredibly well-stocked armories. She enters a discreet back room, and with a hiss of hydraulics, hidden compartments open, revealing a glittering array of customizable weaponry. This is where she truly becomes a one-woman army. We see her inspecting firearms, feeling the cold weight of a silenced pistol, the smooth grip of a combat knife. She's selecting her tools of the trade, each one chosen with precision for maximum impact. The click of a magazine slotting into place, the snick of a knife being sheathed, these are the sounds of an artisan preparing for her masterpiece of destruction. She's not just picking guns. She's orchestrating a symphony of bullet and blade, tailored for vengeance. It's like Christmas for assassins, but instead of presents, it's just more ways to make bad guys regret their life choices. Armed and ready, Rooney tracks a high-ranking syndicate lieutenant to a truly cinematic rooftop chase sequence. It's nighttime, and the city lights glisten off the wet asphalt far below, creating a stunning backdrop for absolute chaos. She's clad in tactical gear, moving with an agility that defies gravity, leaping across incredible distances between buildings. We hear the scrape of her boots on gravel, the whoosh of wind as she clears gaps, and the thud as she lands, absorbing the impact with practiced ease. The lieutenant, predictably, is not as agile, but he's desperate, leading her on a high-stakes parkour course across the urban jungle. The tension is palpable. One wrong step and it's a very long, very painful drop. This isn't just a pursuit. It's a deadly dance across the skyline, a visual spectacle where every movement is precise, powerful, and utterly breathtaking. You half expect her to sprout wings, but then you remember this is the John Wick universe, and practicality, however brutal, reigns supreme. No superhero landings, just highly trained athleticism and an unyielding will to get her target. The exhilarating rooftop chase eventually spills into where else? A bustling, commercial kitchen, because nothing says high-stakes combat like battling it out amongst simmering pots and frantic chefs. Rooney corners one of the lieutenant's bodyguards here, and the scene turns into a hilarious yet brutal display of improvised weaponry. We hear the clatter of pots and pans, the sizzle of hot oil, and the clang of a meat cleaver being used for something other than chopping garlic. Rooney uses everything. A chef's knife becomes an extension of her arm. A frying pan delivers a surprisingly effective concussive blow, and even a splash of hot grease becomes a tactical distraction. The poor chefs are running for their lives, probably wondering if they should have just stayed home sick today. It's a symphony of culinary destruction, punctuated by the yelps of the henchman who clearly regrets picking a fight in a room full of sharp objects and boiling liquids. This is the kind of scene where you think, man, I hope that restaurant had good insurance, right before you cheer for Rooney turning a kitchen into a war zone. After that ridiculously fun kitchen fracas, Rooney finally corners the lieutenant in a lavish, minimalist office. You know the type, all glass and polished chrome, perfect for dramatically throwing people out of. She doesn't waste time with pleasantries. The cold gaze in her eyes is enough to make anyone spill their guts, but she adds a little physical persuasion, just to be sure. She gets what she needs of the location of the syndicate's true power players, their inner circle, and the name of the man at the top. The thump of his body against the windowsill, the shiver of glass as he looks down at the dizzying drop, it all adds to the terror. And then, with a casual flick of her wrist, he's gone, a silent whoosh as he plummets from the high-rise window. It's a stark, brutal moment, emphasizing that for Rooney, this isn't just a mission, it's personal, and there's no room for mercy. The only sound left is the whistling wind through the now open window, a chilling testament to her unwavering resolve. With new intel, Rooney heads to an even seedier, more underground ball than the last one, the kind where everyone looks like they've seen too much and probably killed a fair share. It's here she has an unexpected, incredibly tense encounter with none other than Cain, played by the legendary Donnie Yen. He's blind, yes, but he sees everything. Their first meeting is a silent dance of death, weapons poised, the creak of leather, the scrape of a cane, the click of Rooney's hidden blade. The air is thick with unspoken threats and mutual respect. The distant thrum of a bass-heavy song adds to the edgy atmosphere. It's a moment where you're not sure if they're going to fight to the death or order a drink together. Luckily for Rooney and us, Cain, who clearly owes someone a favor or finds her quest intriguing, reluctantly offers his assistance. It's a classic enemy of my enemy situation, though with these two, enemy is a fluid term. The clink of Cain's cane tapping on the floor is the only sound as he turns, signaling a fragile, but potent, new alliance. All right, so Rooney and Cain, a dynamic duo I didn't know I needed, are now ready for the main event, infiltrating the Obsidian Syndicate's impenetrable fortress. And by impenetrable, I mean, it probably has slightly more reinforced doors than the casino. Their entry method: rappelling down the side of a sleek, futuristic, glass-paneled skyscraper. Because why use the front door when you can make a dramatic entrance that screams, "We're here to mess things up"? We hear the whir of their grappling hooks, the gentle scrape of ropes against the glass, and the whoosh of the wind as they descend. It's a silent, high-stakes ballet, with the city lights twinkling far below. The tension is palpable as they navigate the exterior, avoiding security cameras and motion sensors, moving with perfect synchronization. Cain, despite being blind, guides Rooney with incredible precision, his other senses hyper-tuned. It's a beautiful, terrifying sequence, showcasing their combined skills and setting the stage for the absolute carnage that's about to unfold inside. These two are basically the best of both worlds, elegant destruction and stylish brutality. Once inside, the dynamic duo immediately runs into trouble, because, of course they do. They find themselves in another massive, neon-lit server room, probably designed to look intimidating and cool rather than actually being functional. This time, the guards are heavily armored, not your run-of-the-mill henchmen. These guys have clearly invested in their bulletproof vests and probably go to the gym on Tuesdays. Rooney and Cain work in perfect, brutal harmony. We hear the rat-a-tat-tat of automatic fire, the clang of Cain's cane-deflecting bullets, and the thwack of Rooney's precise, bone-breaking kicks. Cain is a whirlwind of rhythmic violence, his cane becoming a blur, while Rooney moves like a predatory dancer, using the environment to her advantage, ducking and weaving through server racks. The spark of deflected bullets, the shatter of glass panels, it's a sensory overload. They're not just fighting, they're defending a central data core, or at least that's what it looks like, probably contains all the syndicate's dirty laundry, or maybe just their cryptocurrency accounts. Either way, it's a spectacle of stylized violence, making you wonder how these guys manage to look so fresh while dealing with literal death on every corner. During the chaos in the data core, Rooney gets separated from Cain. Solo missions, am I right? She finds herself in a surprisingly serene, ornate indoor garden of stark, beautiful contrast to the blood sport about to unfold. Here, she's confronted by a formidable female assassin, equally skilled and clearly a rival, not just another goon. What follows is a truly breathtaking sword fight. We hear the ringing clang of steel on steel, the whoosh of blades slicing through the air, and the scritch of their boots on the polished stone floor. It's a dance of death, precise and brutal, with each parry and thrust imbued with a dangerous grace. The shatter of a ceramic pot, the slice of a plant being shorn, the garden becomes a casualty of their deadly duel. Their movements are fluid, almost poetic, yet every strike carries lethal intent. It's a reminder that beauty and brutality can coexist, especially when you're dealing with assassins who probably moonlight as competitive synchronized swimmers. The fight is long, arduous, and visually stunning, a testament to Rooney's skill and determination. As Rooney dispatches her sword-wielding adversary, she hears the clamor of more gods approaching. She's wounded, but Cain, ever the loyal if grumpy ally, appears just in time to create a diversion. He takes a stand at a narrow bottleneck, effectively becoming a one-man wrecking crew. This scene is a masterclass in Cain's fighting style. His cane is a blur, deflecting bullets with metallic clangs and delivering devastating blows. We hear the thud of bodies hitting the ground, the groans of frustrated guards, and the swish of his cane as it cuts through the air. He's holding off an overwhelming force, a beautiful, brutal symphony of controlled chaos, allowing Rooney to slip away. The rat-a-tat-tat of gunfire is constant, but Cain moves through it like water, seemingly impervious. It's a moment of heroic sacrifice, or at least a very well-executed distraction. He's buying Rooney time, and you know in this world, time is currency, often paid in blood. It's a poignant reminder that even the most reluctant alliances can forge true bonds when bullets start flying. After Cain's heroic stand, Rooney pushes forward, driven by pure adrenaline and vengeance. She finally reaches the apex of the fortress, the sleek, minimalist penthouse office of the Obsidian Syndicate's enigmatic CEO. This isn't some grungy, back-alley villain. This is a suit and tie, probably drinks artisanal espresso while plotting world domination kind of bad guy. The office is all clean lines, panoramic windows, and cold, calculating precision, much like its owner. The silence in the room is deafening, punctuated only by Rooney's heavy breathing and the faint whir of the building's ventilation system. The CEO, calm and collected, reveals his motive in not just a simple hit, but a larger power play, a strategic move to consolidate control over the criminal underworld. And Rooney's family was just collateral damage. Cue the villain monologue. The revelation hits Rooney like a physical blow, adding another layer of cold fury to her already burning desire for revenge. The clench of her fists, the tightness in her jaw, it's all there, setting the stage for the final brutal confrontation. All right, so the CEO isn't just a mastermind. Turns out he also skipped the negotiations class and went straight for advanced hand-to-hand combat. This isn't just another henchman fight. This is a true battle royale. The shatter of glass as they crash through a table. The crack of concrete as a punch misses and impacts a pillar. The groan of expensive furniture being absolutely obliterated. This penthouse is getting a very expensive, very violent renovation. The CEO, surprisingly agile and ruthless, matches Rooney's ferocity blow for blow. He reveals a fighting style that's less about grace and more about pure, brutal force. Rooney, however, is fueled by a deeper, more primal rage. She uses every ounce of her balletic training, turning every kick, every punch, every dodge into a deadly weapon. The thud of bodies colliding, the whoosh of air being knocked out of lungs, it's a visceral, exhausting fight. It's the kind of fight where you think, okay, who's going to pay for this? Then quickly remember that no one in this universe ever pays for anything. They just destroy it and move on. The battle is a testament to both their wills. And it is a truly destructive spectacle. As the fight between Rooney and the CEO reaches its terrifying crescendo, the entire penthouse begins to literally fall apart. Apparently, the architect didn't account for two super assassins go in full demolition derby inside. The cracked spiderweb across the ceiling, followed by the terrifying groan of stressed metal and the crash of falling debris. Dust and smoke fill the air, making it even harder to see, turning an already brutal fight into a desperate struggle for survival. They're still trading blows, even as the world crumbles on them, because priorities. The thud of concrete slabs, the tinkle of falling glass, it's a chaotic symphony of destruction. Rooney uses the falling debris to her advantage, dodging, weaving, and finding momentary cover, while the CEO, perhaps too arrogant, tries to just power through it. This isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about getting out alive. The very ground beneath them is giving way, a powerful visual metaphor for the crumbling empire of the Obsidian Syndicate. It's truly a do-or-die moment, and frankly, I'm just impressed they're still able to throw a decent punch amidst all that literal falling apart. With the penthouse literally disintegrating around them, Rooney finds her opening, channeling every ounce of her training, every moment of pain and rage. She executes a truly magnificent, ballet-inspired kick. It's a move that's both deadly precise and incredibly graceful, a perfect embodiment of her character. We hear the sickening crack as it connects, the gasp of the CEO, and the shatter of the already weakened panoramic window as he's sent hurtling into the abyss below. There's a moment of terrifying silence, just the whoosh of air as he plummets, and then the distant thud as he meets his ultimate end. It's a clean, decisive kill, a perfect blend of vengeance and art. The fight is over. The silence, after the cacophony of destruction, is almost deafening, broken only by Rooney's ragged breathing and the groaning of the collapsing structure. Her revenge is complete, but the cost and the emotional toll are clearly visible in her eyes. It's a powerful, almost mournful end to a vicious battle. Revenge achieved, but now the most pressing matter is simply surviving. The penthouse, and indeed much of the upper floors of the skyscraper, are rapidly collapsing. Rooney, ever the pragmatist, isn't waiting for a rescue. She eyes an adjacent skyscraper, calculates the distance, and with a desperate surge of strength, uses a broken beam as a makeshift grappling point. We hear the shriek of twisting metal, the creak of stressed cables, and the whoosh of air as she swings across the terrifying chasm. It's a heart-stopping moment, where the roar of the collapsing building behind her is almost deafening. Her hands burn from the friction, her muscles scream from the effort, but she makes it, landing with a painful thud on the other side, just as her former battlefield succumbs to gravity. The gargantuan crash of the building's final collapse is a chilling reminder of the destruction she wrought and barely escaped. She looks back, covered in dust and sweat, a survivor emerging from the rubble, a ballerina and the wreckage of a war. Days later, the dust has settled, both literally and figuratively. We find Rooney in a rare moment of genuine peace, sitting by a tranquil lake at dawn, watching the sunrise paint the sky with soft hues. The gentle lapping of water against the shore, the chirping of unseen birds, it's a stark contrast to the cacophony of her recent past. She's still wearing some battle scars, metaphorical and possibly literal, but there's a quiet strength in her gaze. A weary, almost imperceptible smile touches her lips. It's clear that while her revenge is complete, the journey has taken its toll. She's achieved her goal, but the emptiness that often follows such a quest lingers. She's no longer just a weapon. She's a woman who has endured immense loss and emerged from the crucible of vengeance. The warmth of the rising sun on her face symbolizes a new beginning, perhaps, or at least a temporary respite from the endless dance of death that defines her world. This scene feels like a quiet sigh after holding your breath for an entire movie. Of course, peace in the John Wick universe is always fleeting. Rooney returns to the Continental, perhaps for a much-needed drink, or maybe just to touch base with civilization. Winston, ever the observant proprietor, approaches her. He doesn't speak much, because Winston knows that sometimes the loudest statements are made in silence. He simply presents her with a unique Continental coin, its cold weight glinting in the soft light of the hotel lobby. It's not just currency. It's an invitation, a recognition of her power, her resolve, and her new status. The clink as it lands in her palm is subtle, but significant. It's a silent question, an unspoken offer to define her place in this intricate, dangerous world. Is she an avenger who found closure, or has she merely stepped onto a new stage in a much larger, deadlier ballet? The coin symbolizes the choice, the path forward, and the undeniable truth that once you're in this world, you're rarely truly out. The hushed murmurs of other Continental guests serve as a backdrop to this pivotal, silent exchange. Choices, choices. After a brief moment of consideration, Rooney, predictably, takes the coin. She's not one to sit still for long. We next see her in a bustling, vibrant street market, a place full of life and color, but also discreet corners for illicit transactions. A shadowy courier, moving with quiet efficiency, approaches her and hands over a cryptic dossier. The soft rustle of paper, the brief touch of hands, it's all incredibly subtle, almost imperceptible amidst the cacophony of vendor calls and passing crowds. Rooney's expression is no longer one of weariness but of renewed focus, a steely determination. The content of the dossier is hidden from us, but we know it means one thing: a new contract, a new target, a new mission. Her role as an instrument of justice, or just really efficient violence, continues. It seems the world of assassins never truly runs out of problems that need solving with a well-placed bullet or a balletic roundhouse kick. She's back in the game, and the distant blare of a horn suggests the city and its dangers, all ready for her encore. During her new assignment, Rooney passes a dimly lit ballet studio, the gentle piano music from within drawing her gaze. Inside, a young ballerina practices, her movements fluid and innocent, a stark contrast to Rooney's own hardened reality. It's a quiet, almost mournful moment, a ghostly reflection of her own past, a life that could have been, before the shadows claimed her. The soft scrape of the young girl's point shoes, the sigh of her controlled breathing, it's a delicate sound that cuts through the harshness of Rooney's world. She watches for a long moment, a flicker of longing or regret in her eyes, before she steels herself and moves on. The click of her heels on the pavement is sharper, more purposeful after this brief, poignant pause. It's a powerful scene that reminds us that beneath the hardened exterior, there's still a soul that remembers beauty, even if she can no longer fully embrace it without the specter of violence following her. It's like staring into a mirror and seeing someone you used to be, a painful but necessary reflection. The new mission quickly turns kinetic. Rooney finds herself in a high-speed car chase, not just driving, but expertly piloting a speeding vehicle through chaotic city traffic while simultaneously fending off armed pursuers. Talk about multitasking. We hear the screech of tires, the blare of horns, and the thump-thump-thump of bullets impacting the car's reinforced frame. She's protecting a new asset, someone vital to whatever this latest contract entails. The shatter of a side mirror as a car brushes too close, the roar of the engine as she pushes it to its limits. It's an adrenaline-fueled ballet of vehicular combat. She's leaning out the window, firing back with precision, all while keeping the car in a death-defying dance through the urban landscape. It's the kind of driving that would give any driving instructor an instant aneurysm. But for Rooney, it's just another Tuesday. She's a blur of motion, a force of nature behind the wheel, making every near miss feel like a carefully choreographed step. And honestly, she makes it look so easy. It's almost insulting to actual drivers stuck in traffic. The asset needs to be extracted, and the extraction point is, naturally, a swanky luxury hotel, because bad guys always pick the places with the most expensive upholstery to get taken down. Rooney, now leading a small, elite team, perhaps some more Continental-approved help, executes a methodical raid. This isn't a chaotic brawl. It's a precision operation. We hear the soft hiss of silenced pistols, the thud of bodies dropping, and the whispers of her commands, barely audible above the plush carpet. They clear each floor with ruthless efficiency, navigating hallways, breaching rooms, and engaging multiple armed hostiles. The crack of her shotgun, the whiz of her knife, every movement is calculated to minimize collateral damage to the hotel, not the bad guys, and maximize impact. It's a masterclass in tactical infiltration, a perfectly choreographed dance of death through a five-star establishment. The tinkle of a fallen champagne flute is almost comical amidst the serious business of taking down an entire security detail. They are moving with a relentless, almost unstoppable force, truly a sight to behold. So, as the credits loom, we find Rooney once again on a rooftop, silhouetted against the vibrant, indifferent sprawl of the city at night. Her face is stoic, a mask forged from fire and loss, but there's a subtle contemplation in her eyes. The hushed hum of the city below, the distant siren, it all continues, a world of ceaseless activity, much like her own. Her path is her own now, and burdened by the immediate past, yet undeniably shaped by it. She is a woman of immense power and profound solitude, a ballerina whose stage is the battlefield, whose dance is one of survival and vengeance. The future remains unwritten, full of potential dangers and unknown allies. What choices will she make? What new dances will she perform? This journey has shown us her strength, her pain, and her unwavering spirit. Her story is a testament to the fact that even in the darkest corners, grace can be found, and a single individual can change the rhythm of the world. It inspires us to face our own challenges with resilience, to move forward even when the path is uncertain, and to find our own strength in the quiet moments of reflection. Rooney's story is far from over. It's merely entering a new, exciting act.
You are owed a life free of suffering. No, life is suffering. Somehow you managed all of this for what?
At the Ballerina.
Sit.
So now we're diving into the stylish, bullet-ridden world of John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. If you thought John's life couldn't get more complicated, just wait. We pick up exactly where Chapter 2 left off. Our favorite dog-loving assassin is officially excommunicado, with a $14 million open contract on his head. Talk about a bad day at the office. This is a passion project for me, and a like or a subscribe is the best way to show your support. So if you're on board, join the crew. If not, thanks for watching anyway. The high table is not messing around, and every killer in New York City is eyeing that bounty, turning John's usual stroll through the park into a deadly gauntlet. The clock is ticking, and John's got to move fast, seeking a lifeline while dodging an entire underworld eager to claim their prize. With literally minutes to spare before his excommunicado status takes full effect, John isn't exactly checking out the latest bestsellers. He's in a public library, and let's be honest, it's not for quiet contemplation. He's searching for something or someone and finds an old acquaintance named Ernest. What follows is a brutal, almost balletic fight sequence that reminds us why John Wick is the Baba Yaga. Forget your ninja stars. John's weapon of choice. A very weighty book. Yes, a book. He uses it with devastating precision, proving that even in a digital age, print still holds its power, especially when applied directly to a thug's skull. The sudden thwack of the book connecting, followed by a sickening crunch, reverberates through the normally hushed halls, punctuated by the grunts of exertion and the frantic rustle of turning pages from startled patrons. John dispatches Ernest in a surprisingly quiet but incredibly violent display, leaving us to wonder if he even got a late fee notice for the damage. It's a masterclass in improvisational combat, showcasing John's relentless resourcefulness under immense pressure. He's not just fighting, he's fighting to survive, and every blow, every block, every desperate maneuver screams desperation mixed with pure, unadulterated skill. The library, a sanctuary of knowledge, becomes a very uncomfortable arena of death. Seriously, who knew reading could be so dangerous? John, apparently. After his literary altercation, John's not done with his unusual modes of transportation. He makes a pit stop at an old stable, a hidden relic in the concrete jungle, where he finds a horse. Because why take a taxi when you can literally gallop through the mean streets of New York? It's peak John Wick, frankly. Cue the stunning shots of John on horseback, weaving through traffic, the rhythmic thud of hooves mingling with the frantic blare of car horns and the confused shouts of pedestrians. Assassins on motorcycles are hot on his tail, creating a truly insane chase sequence that feels like something out of a futuristic western. The metallic clang of bikes colliding, the primal roar of engines, and the occasional whinny of a horse under duress create a symphony of urban chaos. John uses the horse not just for speed, but as a living battering ram, knocking down pursuers with calculated precision. The heavy impacts, the spray of sparks as metal grinds against asphalt, the occasional terrified scream, it's a breathtaking spectacle of choreographed mayhem, a testament to John's unwavering determination, even when completely out of his element. He's not just riding, he's fighting for every inch, for every second, the wind whipping past him as he pushes the limits of what a horse can do in Manhattan. The sheer audacity of the scene is brilliant, cementing the anything-goes nature of the John Wick universe, and you just know someone had to clean up some horse droppings after that. Not a glamorous job, I imagine. Think of the traffic tickets, running on fumes and nursing a rather nasty stab wound from his library visit. John Wick seeks out an underworld doctor. It's less scheduled appointment and more emergency hostage situation, with John politely but firmly requesting medical attention at gunpoint. The doctor, bless his heart, is a true professional, working under immense pressure as he stitches John up. You can practically hear the needle go in through skin shudder. The precise snip of medical shears, the quiet pull of sutures, the faint hiss of disinfectant, all create a tense, sterile atmosphere. But just as the doctor finishes up, the clock officially strikes 0. The excommunicado bounty activates with a dramatic flourish of text messages and dinging phones across the city. Suddenly, everyone, including the doctor's own staff, sees John as a walking cash prize. The tension in the room is palpable, a sudden, deafening silence taking over as the news spreads like wildfire, before being broken by the hurried sounds of people scrambling for weapons. John, with fresh stitches and a newly activated target on his back, has to make a quick exit, leaving the doctor in a rather precarious position. It's a classic John Wick move, creating chaos wherever he goes, even when he's just trying to get a bandage. The doctor's frantic movements, the urgent whispers, all combine to paint a picture of sudden, unavoidable peril, highlighting the unforgiving nature of the high table's decree. Talk about a copay you don't want to get involved with. Cash or excommunicado bounty, please. All right, so John's out of the frying pan and into, well, an even bigger frying pan. But at least he's got some new tools. Before things really hit the fan, he visits the sommelier, a wonderfully refined gentleman who dispenses firearms like fine wines. May I suggest a tactical shotgun, or perhaps a nice blend of Glock and R. The metallic click and clack of weapons being presented and chosen fills the air, a symphony of destruction in the making. The weighty thud as each piece is placed on the counter, the smooth slide of mechanisms being checked. John, ever the connoisseur of carnage, picks out a formidable collection, each gun handled with the familiarity of a beloved old friend. It's less a shopping trip and more a ritualistic preparation for the inevitable storm. After arming up, he heads back to the Continental, the one place he still has a shred of influence, to retrieve his beloved pit bull. The sound of the dog's excited barks and the rapid pitter-patter of its paws as it's reunited with John is one of the few genuinely heartwarming moments in the film. A brief respite from the relentless violence. You can practically feel the dog's joy, a powerful contrast to the cold, hard realities John faces. Even a super assassin needs his emotional support animal, right? The gentle patting of John's hand on his dog, the low growls of affection, it's a small anchor of humanity and a sea of brutality. And let's be real, the dog's probably safer with John than without him at this point. Who's a good boy? Definitely not the assassins. Asterisk okay, if you thought John was just going to stick to firearms, you clearly haven't been paying attention. His next stop, an antique shop, quickly devolves into a glorious, balletic bloodbath. This isn't just a fight. It's a masterclass in close quarters knife combat. The shop, filled with priceless artifacts, becomes a treacherous playground. Every display case, every ancient weapon, every suit of armor is either a shield, a projectile, or a bloody hindrance. The air is thick with the shatter of glass, the whiz of thrown blades, and the sickening thud of steel finding flesh. The metallic clang of knives against decorative armor, the rapid slice and dice sounds as John disarms and dispatches foes. It's a visceral feast. John, with an almost supernatural dexterity, dispatches assailant after assailant, often catching thrown knives out of the air and returning them with lethal precision. It's a dazzling display of choreography, where every movement is calculated, every counterattack swift and brutal. The sensory overload is immense, the metallic clang of blades impacting, the grunts of effort, the splintering wood, the screams of pain, all set against the eerie backdrop of dusty antiques. It's like a deadly game of dodgeball, but with significantly sharper objects and much higher stakes. You can practically feel the keen edge of the blades, the frantic desperation of the fight, and you just know the insurance claim for this place is going to be absolutely legendary. Yes, an excommunicado hitman, and several dozen very sharp objects. What do you mean, not covered? Good luck explaining that one. Just when you thought John had exhausted all modes of transport, he hops on a motorcycle, because apparently, walking isn't dramatic enough for this guy. What unfolds is one of the most thrilling chase sequences in modern action cinema. It's a high-octane ballet of bikes, bullets, and pure vehicular pandemonium. John, speeding through city streets, is relentlessly pursued by a cadre of assassins on their own bikes, turning the urban landscape into a deadly racetrack. The aggressive roar of engines, the frantic screech of tires, the percussive thwack of bullets hitting metal, it's all a symphony of destruction. John, with incredible precision, manages to reload, aim, and shoot while riding at breakneck speeds, often turning his bike into a weapon itself, slamming into pursuers with a heavy impact. The camera work is breathtaking, weaving through the chaos, putting us right in the heart of the action. You feel the wind rushing past, the vibrations of the powerful machines, the sheer G-force of their maneuvers as they weave through traffic, barely missing innocent bystanders. It's not just a chase, it's a desperate dance with death, where every twist of the throttle, every pull of the trigger, could mean the difference between survival and a very messy. The choreography is insane, with riders performing impossible stunts while exchanging gunfire. It's pure, unadulterated adrenaline from start to finish. And let's be honest, trying to get insurance for this kind of vehicle usage is probably harder than trying to kill John Wick himself. Sorry, sir, your motorcycle stunt fighting rider isn't valid in New York City. After that dizzying motorcycle chase, John needs a moment to catch his breath, or at least a way out of New York. He heads to the director, a mysterious woman who runs a Romani crime syndicate and, it turns out, was a significant figure in John's past, perhaps even shaping him into the assassin he is today. He presents a ticket, a bloody crucifix that symbolizes his past oaths and allegiances. It's a fascinating glimpse into the deeper lore of the Wick universe, showing us that John wasn't always just Baba Yaga. He had a history, a family, a debt owed. The director, initially reluctant, is bound by the old ways, by the sanctity of her agreement, and grants him safe passage to Casablanca. The hushed tones of their conversation, the solemnity of the ritualistic exchange, the echoes of past lives, it's a dramatic shift in pace, letting us absorb the weight of John's history. You can almost feel the dusty, ancient traditions hanging in the air, a stark contrast to the modern mayhem he just escaped. The faint, metallic clink of the crucifix as it changes hands, the serious creak of old wood as the director sits, all add to the gravitas. This isn't just about escaping. It's about invoking ancient pacts, proving that even in a world of assassins, honor and tradition still hold considerable sway, at least for some. It's like calling in an old favor from your grumpy aunt, but instead of helping you move, she helps you evade an entire criminal underworld. Much more practical, honestly, and probably less passive-aggressive questions about your life choices. Casablanca. From the neon-lit grime of New York to the sun-drenched, exotic vibrancy of Morocco, John lands in this visually stunning locale, not for a vacation, but to call in another marker. He seeks out Sophia, an old friend and the manager of the Casablanca Continental. But Sophia isn't just any manager. She is a force of nature, perfectly matched by her two impeccably trained Belgian Malinois dogs. And let me tell you, these aren't your average fluffy companions. These dogs are absolute furry terminators. The scene crackles with a mix of tense reunion and unspoken history. The dry desert air, the distant calls of the city, the low growls and excited barks of the dogs, it all sets a unique atmosphere. Sophia is clearly not thrilled to see John, as his presence inevitably brings trouble, but she's bound by the unbreakable rules of their world. Their initial exchange is a masterclass in terse dialogue, with years of shared history simmering beneath the surface, punctuated by the soft pads of the dog's paws as they circle. It's a beautifully shot segment, showcasing a different side of the Wick universe, one rich with Middle Eastern aesthetics and a whole new flavor of deadly efficiency. The sheer power and loyalty of the dogs are almost palpable, their focused attention on Sophia a testament to their bond. And honestly, her dogs are probably the best wingmen anyone could ask for in a fight. Just saying, forget a guard dog. Get yourself a pair of these furry assassins, and you'll sleep soundly. Unless John Wick comes calling, of course. Sophia, reluctantly, takes John to meet a very intimidating emissary of the older, the mysterious head honcho of the high table. This isn't a casual chat. It's a solemn, almost ritualistic encounter in a stark, beautifully designed room. The emissary, a man of quiet authority, makes it clear that if John wants to speak to the elder, he must prove his sincerity, his willingness to pay the ultimate price. The air is thick with anticipation, the only sounds being the rustle of robes and the low, serious tones of the emissary's voice. The subtle scrape of their sandals on the tiled floor, the deep, resonating thrum of unspoken power, it's all incredibly heavy. What follows is intense. To prove his fealty and sincerity, John has to offer a pound of flesh, not metaphorically, but quite literally. The emissary removes one of John's fingers to symbolize the breaking of his marriage vow, and a tooth as proof of his journey and suffering. The visceral crunch, the brief flash of pain on John's face, the sickening tear of flesh, it's a truly wince-inducing moment, a brutal reminder of the sacrifices demanded by this brutal world. You can practically feel the sharp, agonizing pang. It's a raw, uncompromising display of the high table's power and John's desperation. He's not just running, he's actively mutilating himself for a chance at absolution. Talk about commitment to a cause. And honestly, dentistry in the criminal underworld seems surprisingly effective, albeit a little hands-on. Bet he wishes he'd paid for that dental insurance now. Asterisk John and Sophia's negotiation with the local boss. Brother, quickly goes south after Sophia's request for information about the elder is denied and Baroda, being utterly foolish, shoots one of her dogs. Naturally, this means a massive firefight erupts within Baroda's impressive desert fortress. This place is less fortress and more death trap with really good interior design. The battle is absolute chaos, a symphony of gunfire, shattered glass, and the ferocious snarls of Sophia's dogs. And oh, those dogs, they are not just pets. They are precision-guided, furry missiles of canine destruction. They leap, bite, and disarm with astounding efficiency, often flying through glass walls to get at their targets. The sickening thud of their bodies hitting assailants, the tearing sound of fabric and flesh, the sharp bark of attack, it's all incredibly visceral. John and Sophia work seamlessly together, a deadly duo in a whirlwind of bullets and barking. The visual spectacle of the dogs launching themselves through the air, glass shattering on them, is breathtaking. It's an incredible display of animal training and deadly choreography. Every shot fired, every dog attack, feels incredibly impactful, showcasing the sheer brutality of their world. You can practically taste the dust and the metallic tang of gunpowder in the air. Boada, surprisingly, lives to fight another day, but not without paying a very high price. He probably needs a new glass repairman and maybe some serious dog bite insurance now. Seriously, those dogs are better than most SWAT teams. Never, ever mess with a woman's dogs, especially if they're trained assassins. Having secured the information, John bids farewell to a very annoyed Sophia who, let's be fair, just lost her boss's good standing because of him. Not to mention having her two best friends go full attack mode. John then begins his solitary trek across the vast and forgiving desert. This segment is a stark contrast to the preceding action, offering a moment of quiet, almost spiritual reflection amidst the physical torment. The sun beats down relentlessly, the wind whispers across endless dunes, and the silence is deafening, broken only by John's heavy footsteps and ragged breathing. The dry, grating scrape of sand against his shoes, the faint whoosh of wind across the desolate landscape, the heavy thump of his own heart in his ears. It's a powerful visual metaphor for his journey, alone, exposed, pushing his limits in search of answers and absolution. You can almost feel the scorching heat, the grit of the sand beneath his feet, the crushing weight of his desperation. He's truly at his lowest point, stripped bare of his usual weaponry and resources, relying solely on his endurance and iron will. This is where the legend truly grinds down to the man beneath, reminding us that even the Baba Yaga is still human, albeit one who can walk across an entire desert to talk to an ancient crime lord. It's a testament to his sheer willpower, a truly epic quest for redemption, or at least a way out of his seemingly inescapable predicament. Let's hope he remembered to pack sunscreen, because that desert sun is no joke, even for an unstoppable assassin. Hydration is key, John. Against all odds, John Wick reaches the Elder, a figure shrouded in mystery and immense power, found in a simple tent amidst the vast desert. This is it, the man at the very top of the high table hierarchy, the one who can theoretically pull the strings and lift John's bounty. The Elder, an ancient and wizened figure, speaks with an almost ethereal calm, presenting John with a stark choice: die, or pledge fealty to the high table and assassinate Winston, the manager of the New York Continental. The air is thick with a solemn, almost religious weight, the gentle flap of the tent in the wind the only sound breaking the tension, apart from the low, gravelly tones of the Elder's voice. John, desperate, accepts the terms, but not before a truly shocking act of submission. To prove his loyalty, he cuts off his own ring finger, offering his wedding ring as a symbol of his sacrifice and severance from his past life. The sharp slice of the knife, the brief, pained gasp from John, it's another brutal, uncompromising moment that underlines the sheer stakes. You can practically feel the shock, the agonizing loss. It's a symbolic annihilation of his last shred of personal identity, a devastating blow to the man who fought so hard for love. He has to kill the one man who offered him solace, the one man who dared to defy the high table on his behalf. The elder's words echo with ancient authority, and John's somber acceptance speaks volumes about his plight. He's not just a killer, he's a pawn in a game far larger than himself, and the cost of playing is everything he holds dear. Talk about a raw deal, though. By the way, kill your friend, and also no more wedding ring. Brutal. Who knew getting a pardon would be so painful? Back in New York, while John's off getting his fingers snipped, the adjudicator, the high tables impeccably dressed, ice-cold enforcer, is making her rounds. She visits Winston, the stoic manager of the Continental, and the Bowery King, the charismatic, pigeon-loving underworld informant. Her message is clear. Defiance of the high table has consequences. The calm, measured tones of her voice are chilling, cutting through the opulent setting of the Continental and the grimy realism of the Bowery King's hideout. She declares that both Winston and the Bowery King have exactly 7 days to abdicate their positions or face repurposing. For Winston, it's a warning, a demand for submission, delivered with the faint rustle of her designer suit. For the Bowery King, who helped John, it's far more brutal. She orders his 7 cuts, a symbolic act of punishment that leaves him scarred and broken, but not defeated. The sharp slice of the blade, the painful grunt from the king, it's a shocking display of power, a cold, calculated act of retribution. You can almost feel the searing pain of the cuts, the indignity of his forced submission, the metallic ping as the blade is wiped clean. The adjudicator's visit is a chilling reminder that the high table's reach is absolute, and their justice swift and severe. Her perfectly modulated voice and almost unsettling politeness make her all the more terrifying. It's like getting a visit from a very polite, very well-dressed IRS agent, but instead of auditing your taxes, they're auditing your kneecaps. Much less fun, and probably a lot messier. John Wick, fingerless and emotionally drained, finally returns to the familiar, chaotic streets of New York. But his homecoming is anything but peaceful. He's immediately ambushed by Zero, an eccentric, self-proclaimed superfan assassin, and his highly skilled shinobi students. This isn't just a fight. It's an uncomfortable fanboy encounter gone lethally wrong. Zero, with a strange mix of reverence and murderous intent, engages John in a truly unique duel amidst a bustling market. The sounds of vendors, the chatter of crowds, quickly turn into screams and the harsh clash of blades. The distinct whoosh of Zero's rapid movements, the zing of his katana cutting the air, the panicked shouts of the market-goers, it's a sensory overload. The shinobi, with their incredible agility and martial arts prowess, are a formidable challenge, pushing John to his absolute limits. They move with an almost supernatural grace, their silent attacks punctuated by the rapid swish of movement and the sharp thud of impact. John, despite his weariness, fights with the familiar ferocity, but it's clear he's facing a new breed of assassin, one that admires him almost as much as they want to kill him. It's a bizarre, almost comical dynamic, watching John fight off people who are essentially saying, "I'm your biggest fan, now die." You can almost feel the speed of their attacks, the desperate scramble for every inch of ground. And honestly, it's a bit rude to try and kill someone who just lost a finger for a criminal organization, don't you think? Timing, people, timing. At least get him a get-well-soon card first. With the adjudicator's ultimatum hanging heavy in the air, Winston, ever the defiant gentleman, decides he's not going down without a fight. He refuses to abdicate and instead begins preparing the New York Continental for a full-scale siege. This isn't just any hotel. It's a fortress waiting to happen. With Karen, his impeccably calm concierge, by his side, Winston mobilizes the Continental staff, turning bellhops into armed guards and concierge into strategic commanders. The once elegant lobby is transformed, barricades going up, ancient display cases filled with weapons, and staff donning tactical gear. The sounds are purposeful and urgent, the metallic clink of weapons being loaded, the muffled commands of preparation, the heavy thump of furniture being moved into defensive positions. You can hear the crisp snap of magazines being inserted, the quiet click of safety catches, the low murmur of strategic planning. It's a fascinating look at the inner workings of the Continental, revealing its hidden depths as a sanctuary and, now, a battleground. Winston's unwavering resolve is palpable, a quiet storm brewing beneath his calm exterior. You can almost feel the tension building, the anticipation of the coming storm, the sheer scale of the defiance. It's like watching a luxury hotel transform into a very high-end doomsday bunker, complete with room service and a body count. Just put it on my tab, darling. And please don't forget the mints on the pillows. Even during a siege, the moment of truth arrives. The High Table, true to their word, unleashes their forces upon the Continental. This isn't a subtle invasion. It's a full-blown siege, a torrent of highly trained assassins storming the supposedly neutral ground. John, now allied with Winston, finds himself fighting alongside the Continental staff, who prove themselves surprisingly adept at combat. The first major confrontation erupts in a stunning room filled with ancient weapons displayed in glass cases. What follows is a brutal, chaotic symphony of shattered glass, gunfire, and close-quarters combat. The resonant shatter of bullet-riddled glass, the sharp crack of headshots, the metallic thud of bodies hitting the marble floor, it's a sensory assault. The deafening roar of automatic weapons, the frantic ping of ricocheting bullets, the desperate grunts of effort all combine into a terrifying symphony. John, with his unique blend of martial arts and gunfu, is in his element, dispatching waves of attackers with brutal efficiency. The sheer volume of incoming fire is overwhelming, forcing John and the guards to constantly adapt, using the environment to their advantage. It's a beautifully choreographed bloodbath, a testament to the film's commitment to relentless action. You can almost feel the concussive force of the explosions, the sharpness of the glass shrapnel, the heat of the gunfire. And let's be honest, the cleaning crew for this place is going to need a hefty bonus and probably therapy after this. Imagine trying to explain that to health and safety. Yes, about the 500 shards of glass and the bloodstains. The battle rages deeper into the Continental, specifically into its vast, labyrinthine archives. This isn't your average library. It's a sprawling collection of high-table records, ancient texts, and probably a few overdue notices from centuries past. The narrow aisles and towering shelves make for incredibly tight, claustrophobic combat. The sounds here are different, the muffled thuds of bodies hitting shelves, the violent rustle of falling papers, the sharp whiz of bullets tearing through ancient documents, mingled with the relentless bang of gunfire. The smell of old paper and dust mixes with the acrid scent of gunpowder. John and the dwindling number of Continental guards fight tooth and nail, navigating the collapsing shelves and using the environment to their advantage. It's a brutal, desperate fight for survival, with no quarter given or asked. The sheer volume of books and files cascading down, creating temporary barricades and obstacles, adds a unique flavor to the combat. It's a fascinating blend of intellect and brute force, where knowledge literally becomes a weapon, or at least a very effective projectile. You can almost feel the cramped spaces, the dust from crumbling paper, the frantic pace of the close quarters struggle, the desperate shouts and grunts echoing through the stacks. The thought of archiving this mess afterward is probably enough to make any librarian weep. Just put everything back in alphabetical order, please, and try not to bleed on the incunabula. My condolences to the Dewey Decimal System. Just when John thought he might get a moment to catch his breath, Zero's elite shinobi students return for round 2, and this time, they're really cranked up. The battles are spectacular, showcasing incredibly fluid and deadly martial arts choreography. John faces off against multiple blade-wielding assassins across the Continental's opulent yet treacherous architecture, including a series of breathtaking duels on a transparent glass walkway high above the lobby. The sharp clink of steel on steel, the rapid swish of katanas, the chilling tinkle of shattering glass underfoot, it's a symphony of calculated violence. The visual of John fighting on a see-through floor, with the chaos of the lobby visible below, is genuinely stunning, adding a layer of vertigo to the already intense combat. Each student possesses a unique fighting style, pushing John to adapt and overcome, often using their own momentum against them with a forceful push or a precise block. He's not just fighting for survival, he's fighting for every inch, every second, knowing that any mistake could send him plummeting to his death. You can almost feel the tension in the air, the desperate energy of the struggle, the sharpness of the blades, the sheer speed of their exchanges, the frantic panting and grunts of exertion. It's a testament to John's enduring skill and resilience, even against opponents who clearly idolize him. It's like being challenged to a dance-off by your biggest fans, but with swords, much more intense, and probably less chance of selfie request mid-fight. After dispatching Zero's students, John finally faces off against the man himself in a highly personal, brutal duel. Zero, still professing his admiration even as he tries to carve John into sashimi, is a formidable opponent. This isn't just a fight. It's a grudge match between two masters, a clash of styles that pushes both men to their absolute physical limits. The battle is a whirlwind of lightning-fast strikes, parries, and bone-crunching impacts. The distinct whoosh of Zero's agile movements, the crack of John's powerful punches, the sharp clang of their occasional blade work, it's all incredibly intense, a blur of motion and sound. The air is thick with the panting of exertion, the thud of bodies against walls, the strained grunts of pain. There's a strange, almost theatrical quality to their exchange, a twisted respect mingled with lethal intent, Zero's almost giddy enthusiasm contrasting with John's grim determination. John, battered and bruised, but never broken, eventually gains the upper hand. The fight culminates in a satisfyingly brutal fashion, with John reminding Zero that admiration doesn't equate to victory, delivering a final, decisive blow that echoes through the silence. You can almost feel the exhaustion, the pain, the sheer physical toll this battle takes on both men. It's a testament to John's unwavering will and his ability to endure, even when facing someone who truly understands his craft. And honestly, Zero probably just wanted John's autograph after all this, but it just went really, really wrong. Some fans, am I right? Maybe next time, just send a nice fan letter. With the high table's forces largely defeated, the Adjudicator arrives to survey the carnage and deliver her final judgment to Winston. The tension is unbearable. Winston, with his usual calm demeanor, appears to negotiate a truce, reinstating the Continental's neutrality. His words are smooth, reassuring, almost hypnotic, lulling everyone into a false sense of security. But then, in a shocking twist that left audiences gasping, Winston seemingly betrays John. He shoots John multiple times, the loud bang of the gunshots echoing across the rooftop, sending him plummeting from the very top of the Continental Hotel, crashing onto the streets below. The sudden bang of the gunshots, the sharp intake of breath from the onlookers, the sickening thud of John's body hitting the ground, it's a moment of pure, devastating disbelief. You can almost feel the betrayal, the crushing weight of that fall, the chilling silence that follows the brutal act. Was it a genuine betrayal, or a calculated move to satisfy the high table while secretly preserving John? The ambiguity is agonizing, leaving us on the edge of our seats, questioning Winston's true intentions. Winston's poker face is legendary, making his true intentions utterly inscrutable. It's a cliffhanger of epic proportions, designed to make you question everything you thought you knew about the relationship between these two men. It's like your best friend offering to help you move, and then pushing you out the window instead. Bit of a mixed message, wouldn't you say? Peak friendship goals right there. So John Wick, not dead, because of course he's not dead. Seriously, what did you expect? He lands on a pile of trash bags, breaking his fall just enough to survive, albeit in excruciating pain. He's swiftly rescued by the Bowery King's operatives, who bring him back to their subterranean lair. The scene is grim, dark, and filled with the low hum of machinery and the soft, urgent whispers of the King's men. John awakens, battered, broken, but very much alive. He's laid out next to a heavily bandaged Bowery King, who, despite his own horrific injuries from the Adjudicator's 7 cuts, still possesses his trademark defiance and wit. The two men, both victims of the high table's ruthless justice, lie side by side, their shared suffering forging a powerful, unspoken alliance. The King leans over, his voice raspy but resolute, asking John, "How do you feel, John?" And John, with a guttural growl that speaks volumes, replies angry, the raw emotion in his voice, the palpable tension of their shared resolve, promises an explosive future. You can almost feel the deep throb of their wounds, the slow burn of their fury. This isn't just a promise of revenge. It's a declaration of war against the high table itself. The final shot of them, gravely injured but united, staring into the darkness, sets the stage for a truly epic showdown. It's a moment of profound resilience and quiet determination, a shared breath before a much bigger storm. And honestly, after everything they've been through, who can blame them for wanting a little payback? Revenge is a dish best served with lots and lots of bullets. That's probably their new motto. This story reminds us that even in the darkest corners, hope for change can ignite, and the spirit of defiance can never truly be extinguished. When faced with overwhelming power, it's the alliances we forge and the courage to stand up that ultimately define us. John Wick's journey is far from over, and perhaps neither is ours in challenging the high tables in our own lives.